Hello everybody, welcome to the Robot Rampage League once again. We are on to week number 7 this week. There we go, that's a little bit better. Welcome, how is everybody doing in the chat this week? Hello, Razor259, Jim Jamatic, Casey, Tamabris, Snowing Steak, everybody here, Jim Jamatic even. Welcome everybody. How are we doing? IFLS shirt, yeah. So there's a lot going on in the world this week, particularly today. And the only thing that I'm going to say about the U.S. election and Joe Biden winning is that it is a win for science and somebody who is actually going to pay attention to what scientists say. So I have my I fucking love science shirt on to celebrate. Can't believe we're almost halfway there. Yeah, we're approaching the midpoint of the season. Teams have got to really start thinking about their playoff chances now. Can't believe it's been 7 weeks. Yeah, I know. It's been a very fun 7 weeks that we've been doing this stream so far. But today's very, very cool day. Very, very strange emotional day for me. We've got the election thing going on that's like really cool, but also one of my friends just lost their a family member, and so it's like really tragic too. I'm really, I don't know how to feel today, but we're gonna move on with the league. So here are the results from last week. Notable, there's 2 shutouts last week. I think we've only had 7 or 8 shutouts total for the whole league so far. We're averaging about 1 shutout per week. River City, I think River City are at the bottom now. We only had a few judges' decisions. They were pretty clear judges' decisions, so they're on screen at the moment. But let's look at the standings. Yeah, River City Robotics officially on the bottom overall. They have the fewest points in the league. The Armchair Engineers have actually moved off the bottom. Pretty neat result there. Indiana has moved up into 2nd in Division 1, and they're looking pretty strong for a playoff spot. Remember, it's the top 4 in each division make the playoffs. And so, you know, we've got 1 point separating 5th from 4th in both divisions, and still a lot of weeks to play for. So this is going to be a really interesting week so far. Let me go ahead and get the game fired up, and we can get started. I sound a lot better. Yeah, I rested my voice the entire week. Like, a lot of people released videos recently about the official photos going up on the BattleBots website for all the robots in this new season. I have deliberately avoided making anything about it because I needed to rest my voice. I'm actually going to film that tomorrow. So I will have a video very shortly, sometime next week, going through every robot in the 2020 season. But for right now, this past week I had to rest my voice. So let's see how things go in the league this week, especially now that I can actually talk correctly. Storm Lab always starts off. What do we get? And Team 9. So Storm Lab is facing Eeveeon to start off with. Firestarter, the asymmetric horizontal spinner. Kurbnalab, the vertical spinner that spins downwards. Kurbnalab, I think, only has 1 win on the season. Leave me your predictions in the chat for this first fight. My pen will work. Let's see what chat has been saying, because I haven't read a whole lot of chat at the moment. BattleBots on December 3rd. Excellent. Great to hear. Mick Nakladak. 20 Czech monies. I don't know what money they have in Czech. Thank you for the super chat. Hello, nice to see you online again. It's nice to see you too. I've seen you in the chat a few times. I'm glad everybody is having a good time here. Mott to the bot. Why does Stormlab start in every episode? It's the way that the schedule generator happened to generate the schedule, and I just have everything in as team numbers. So it just put one of the teams in the first fight every week. So I'm just going with that. Let's see the results of our first fight. Lots of people going with Firestarter on this one. They've locked up, and Corbnalob's hitting Firestarter's chassis, and it's actually broken Firestarter's weapon right off the bat. So Corbnalob actually doing some pretty serious damage. Firestarter's doing his best to try to knock it over, and is paying the price for it. I think this is going to be a pretty short fight here. If Corbnalob has anything to say. Yes, it is. 28 seconds. Win by knockout for Corbnalob. So, Firestarter showing weakness to overhead weapons. Corbnalob redemption arc confirmed. That's 3 quick points to Eeveeon, who are near the bottom of the table. I think Eeveeon and Stormlab are both 8th in their respective divisions. So they both need a lot of points, and it's going to be interesting to see what we get here. All right, Sludge, very fast rammer, throws itself out of the ring. Spinning Cage of Death, 360-degree tri-bar spinner thing. Not invertible. Predictions, please. Stormlab has a lot of comeback wins, too. Yeah, Stormlab's been doing pretty good. Darren Catalane, have you been feeling better, Mike? My voice is feeling much better. I feel like I can actually talk properly for this whole stream. And if my voice is still feeling good tomorrow, I will film my thoughts on the BattleBots 2020 field video tomorrow. I've spent the entire week since last stream resting my voice. You've seen 1986 movie Maximum Overdrive. A long time ago. I seem to recall it being enjoyable but weird. Let's see who wins here. A lot of people going with Spinning Cage of Death for this one. Sludge is fast but uncontrollable, and it's knocked Spinning Cage of Death over, and it's not invertible. So as long as Sludge doesn't do anything stupid here, it might be able to get a TKO win here. It's going to put it on the grinder, which is a great strategy unless Sludge throws itself out of the ring again. Grinder's taken off one of the arms from Spinning Cage of Death. Sludge has taken off a second one. And I think that is going to be it. I think there's going to be a TKO count here now. So Sludge going to get some points here. $11 seconds remaining, so that is 49 seconds. All right, so Stormlab gets 2 points, but they are still down by 1 to Eeveeon. Going into the heavyweights, where they both have rather lackluster heavyweights. Spike 6 only just got its first win of the season last week, and Microburst, I think, only has 1 win on the whole season as well. Neither of these robots have been doing very good. Microburst, 6 pistons. Spike 6, double front hinge flipper. Microburst is not invertible, but it'll use its pistons to move around the ring even if it's flipped over. Win for Sludge, really? Why does the AI love to stop KOs for themselves? The AI is set up to not knock a robot back over and get it back into the fight if it's getting counted out. So, I mean, if you're a robot like Sludge and you're not getting any wins on the season, you take whatever wins you can get. Microburst only has 1 win. I'm pretty sure it's only got 1 win. It's been getting its butt kicked. Predictions are kind of split between Spike 6 and Microburst. This is 2 bottom-of-the-table heavyweights here. Let's see which one will come out on top or come out on the bottom if you're a wedge. So So Spike 6 has Microburst over, but it took some big hits from those pistons. Let's put it onto the grinder, which is a good strategy. Although it's broken one of its flipping arms. Spike 6 already broken a flipping arm off on the rear protection that Microburst has, and I think they have a TKO count going. Oh, there goes both of the flipping arms. So they're both gone. Spike 6 is just a wedge now. Microburst upside down and unable to move. But no TKO count coming yet, because Spike 6 keeps moving it. Oh, they keep hitting the robot and not letting the count go down. Yeah, if the count is going, they will stop moving, but if the count has not started yet, they'll just keep attacking like Spike 6 is doing here. Although it's getting it over to the other grinder. Maybe it can keep it in place and get a TKO count here. Especially because Microburst... No, it's actually moving back from the grinder now, so it's going to break the count on its own. Lost most of its spikes on the grinder, though, so that's... Oh, that's not what you want, Spike 6. Don't put yourself at risk of those spikes, even though there's only 2 remaining. 90 seconds into the fight. Microburst has been completely helpless pretty much the entire time. Spike 6 is attackless. Needs to just leave Microburst alone. There we go. There's a TKO count, finally. Piston weapons suck at the heavyweight class. Not necessarily. I think Microburst just sucks. Let's see, that would be 117. Talk about milking it. Yeah, they were really trying to get the full episode length here. Really stalling for time on that one. So now it's heavyweight time, or super heavyweight time. Eeveeon with Blood Eagle. And Stormlab with Oregano. So, double vertical hammer spinner. Really powerful vertical spinner in Oregano, but Blood Eagle has this battering ram made out of axe heads, and it's got wheel protection, and it's invertible. So, there's a lot of firepower on both sides here. Who do we think is going to win on this one? Eeveeon is up by 3 points, so Stormlab needs a KO from Oregano in order to tie the match. Snowing Snake says Havoc Explosion. It's possible if Blood Eagle takes the weapon motors off of Oregano here. Oregano, Blood Eagle. Pretty split so far. Let's see if Stormlab can claw a win back. They've done that a couple of times this season so far. Oregano actually did some damage to the top of Blood Eagle with one of the hammers, but not able to get through the battering ram so far. In fact, it's losing a lot of those hammers. But the battering ram has lost some pieces and is coming apart, so both robots doing damage to each other. Oregano only with one hammer left. And no hammers left, so now Oregano is weaponless. It's just got those kind of defensive spikes around the sides and that it uses as stabilizers. And Blood Eagle still has most of its battering ram and ramming power left. And it's just getting stuck straight into the front of Oregano. Not able to get to the chassis, though. Oregano just trying to get away. Although Oregano is doing its best to try to be aggressive, it's still losing parts every time it runs into Blood Eagle. It's actually kind of pushing it back a little bit here. Oh my goodness! Half of the battering ram came off. So Oregano got that that spiked stabilizer in place to knock one of the extenders off and break half the battering ram right off of Blood Eagle. I did not expect that to happen at all. I think one of the stabilizers has now been broken off on the left side of Oregano. Oregano's still doing his best to get that remaining stabilizer in place and try to do some damage with it. Blood Eagle slowing down. Oregano's actually keeping pace with it so far. Less than a minute to go. Love how the tri-bars glitch into the floor. Yeah, the tri-bars have the dumbest hitboxes. Unfinished video game from 2003. Ooh, that was another big hit. That took the side armor off of Blood Eagle. So Blood Eagle's whole left side is exposed now. And that is the side that has that spiked stabilizer that Oregano's doing some work with. And Blood Eagle does not have the battery power to fight back anymore. And the rest of the battering ram is gone. Wow, Oregano's doing some work with these front spikes. We are probably going to get to the judges here. We are going to get to the judges. And they're going to have an interesting decision to make here. So, Blood Eagle controlled the early part of the fight, but Oregano slowly knocked away at its front end, and they ended up both being weaponless by the end. Now, that is not going to win Stormlab the match, so Eeveeon has the match overall won, but it might be a 2-2 record rather than a 3-1, so we'll have to see what the judges think of that one. Meanwhile, we move on to Moscow Mantines and Kinetic Creatures. Both of these teams towards the bottom of their respective divisions. And up first in the lightweights is Hailstorm 4 and Steel Dragon. Hailstorm's a front hinge flipper. Steel Dragon has a saw blade spinner. We classify that differently to most other kinds of spinners because it does slow damage over time rather than a lot of damage at once. If I remember from my notes correctly, Steel Dragon is one of only 4 robots that have not yet won a fight this whole season, so they are 0-6. And Hailstorm has actually gotten some crucial points for the Mantines this season. Not sure who to go for here. Steel Dragon, Hailstorm, Steel Dragon. It's pretty split. Let's see if Hailstorm can flip Steel Dragon over, or if Steel Dragon can eat away at that wedge. It depends on who's lower here, and it is Hailstorm that is lower. Steel Dragon trying to drive upside down. I think the saw blades are doing damage a little bit to the top of Hailstorm, who's not really able to get that front hinge flipper into play. So Steel Dragon doing a pretty good job trying to just remain elusive and be difficult to manage. Although Hailstorm is getting a couple of shots in with that flipping spike. Oh, the grinder takes a wheel off of Steel Dragon. And now Steel Dragon back upright, but basically crippled at this point. A lot of chassis damage and missing a wheel. And Hailstorm just has a little bit of chassis damage, a small dent. Steel Dragon invertible, or is the saw doing the driving? It's not. It's sort of invertible. The wheels touch the ground, but it's not designed to be invertible. So it's flipped up again against the wall by Hailstorm here, who's just going to stay there and beat the crap out of it. Although Steel Dragon now getting counted out and is not making an attempt to get out of there. It has a wheel on the ground and it is not trying to move at all. What do we think, Burnout? Is that a pin? Because Steel Dragon didn't move at all there. Chat seems to think that's a pin. Burnout rules that's not a pin. I'm leaning towards not a pin because Steel Dragon wasn't even trying to move. I could tell that the wheel was touching the ground and there was no movement at all. So that is a win by TKO for Hailstorm. Need the time on that one. That is a quick 2 points to the Moscow Mantines. Where is Kinetic based out of? Kinetic is from Cleveland, Ohio, so this is Moscow versus Cleveland. The two teams that you think, the two major cities you think of when you think of sports. Fireworks are going off all over your neighborhood. Okay, Snowing Steak, are fireworks legal in your neighborhood? That's the question. 96 seconds, thank you. Up next, in the middleweights, OMG, it's Dollar Store Razor with the overhead claw thing and the rear hinged flipper underneath. And then Siege for Kinetic Creatures is a vertical bar spinner, which is able to drive upside down and get itself self-righted. Who do we think will win this one? Please do well, Siege. You're my favorite middleweight. Siege is a pretty cool middleweight. It's been hit or miss so far this season, but we'll see what it can do with Razor. Razor's got a good wedge. When are we going to get our first glitch of the week? Don't know. We might get it here. We might get it a few fights from now. People leaning towards Siege on this one. Razor's got that claw up top. It might be able to get that weapon motor. We'll see. And Razor getting the claw into play, stopping the weapon for Siege, but Siege knocks the weapon tip off, so now it's just an extender that's not doing any damage for Razor, and that's been lopped off as well. Razor does still have the rear hinge, well, it doesn't have the rear hinge flipper anymore, that's come off too. So Siege with the firepower advantage, Razor with the wedging advantage. Siege unable to do anything for Razor here. And Razor's going to put it on the grinder, and Siege pulled itself over the wall. What the fuck? Wow, I never would have thought that could have happened in my life. Holy crap. OMG, it's Dollar Store Razor with an UDA victory, a ring out. That was incredible. We've seen this a couple of times in the Robot Rampage League. A robot loses its weapon and in desperation just shoves its opponent at the grinder and hopes for the best. And Razor did it perfectly. Another 2 points to the Mantines. I like Jim Dramatic's comment. Razor cheated, the wall was too short, we want a recount. Wow, somebody get a hold of Captain Mantine and let him know what nonsense just happened here. I think I'm going to need a time on that fight, because I was just, like, stunned. Okay, heavyweight time. Tougher Than Nails, got the 4 kind of crushing hammers. Surgical Glory, a sit and spin flail thwack bot. Burnout says it was 40 seconds. Thank you. Who do we think between Tougher Than Nails and Surgical Glory here? Lots of people going with Surgical Glory in this one. We'll have to see. Surgical Glory's got a lot of weapon power, but Tougher Than Nails, those hammers on the end are pretty darn durable, so we'll see what happens here. Surgical Glory getting a shot in on one of the wheels early, but it's lost one of the flails. To start off with, it's still got one, and it's got those long extended spikes. Oh, what a great shot, taking a wheel off of Tougher Than Nails. It's probably going to get the other one here if Tougher Than Nails isn't careful. Oh, that was just a glitch. Should I restart that burnout or let it go? They're kind of in the same spot, so it's probably going to happen again. I think that's the spike off of Surgical Glory that's come off now. No, it's fine. No, it didn't affect the match. Yes, we will continue. Surgical Glory is stuck spinning, and it's being counted out, I think. Surgical Glory going to fall prey to the sit and spin AI once again, I think. Well, there we go. Tougher Than Nails wins by TKO because of sit and spin AI. For Season 2, I'm definitely going to look and see if there's a better sit and spin AI. Once again, I have failed to pay attention to the time on that fight. That is fine. We are going to get the super heavyweights out. I know how words work. Okay. Falcon Punch, sit and spin AI with a bunch of fists around the side. White Hot, overhead spinner. That's probably too tall, but a lot of defensive spikes and swords around it to protect it. Who do we think looks the best to win this fight? I think Falcon Punch is 6-1. It had its first loss last week, or 5-1. Everybody going for Falcon Punch on this one. Surgical Glory still reeling after being torn apart by Bioshocker. Probably. Bioshocker ripped it a new one. All right, let's see who comes out and wins this super heavyweight fight. The Mantines are up 6-0 right now, so White Hot really needs a win for Kinetic Creatures here. It's trying to use Falcon's kind of... Oh no, is it just going to sit here and take advantage of the AI? White Hot, you cheeky bastard. Wow, what a shitty way to win that one. So White Hot saw what happened with Surgical Glory and just kept Falcon Punch from moving, and then just sat in its smart zone and made it keep spinning. What a dick. And again, I didn't pay attention to the time because I was just like blown away by how much of a dick White Hot was being there. Alright, well, Kinetic got 2 points. We're going to move on to... What's up next? 17 and 12. That will be the number 1 team in the league, Sinister Creations, and the Meta Bot Builders. 2 of the power teams in the league right now. Overheat, the front hinge flipper on Sinister Creations, and Uglybot, the piston poker for Meta. Uglybot is invertible. Overheat it's struggled, I think. It's done okay, but it's struggled. We'll see how these two do. Gotta remember to write these things down. Your predictions are Ugle. Overheat, overheat. Must be some rule. Yeah, we usually rule against sit and spin AI as if it were a radio interference problem type of a thing. Lots of people going with Overheat on this one. Well, Sinister Creations is the #1 team for a reason, so let's see if Overheat backs that up. Or if Uglybot is going to take advantage of how wide it is to get some good hits on it. It's making that weapon really vulnerable to Overheat's weapon. And Overheat's going to put it into the grinder, which is a great strategy. Uglybot able to get away. It's trying to get at those wheels. It's got to be careful it doesn't get that weapon lopped off by the flipper, though. Overheat just holding it in place. Uglybot drove up the wall because that's how Robot Arena 2 physics works. Oh, Overheat going to toss it back onto the grinder again, and it's going to get a KO. Great attack by Overheat there. So, Sinister showing even one of their slower and more controlled bots can put up big numbers and get 3 points right off of the bat. I thought Uglybot was winning that. Yeah, Uglybot was doing pretty good. I thought they had a good chance, and Sinister shut him down. So now we have Cycloid, which is the side axes, and Creighton, which is 4 rear-hinged flippers. Creighton is one of only 3 robots in the league right now that are undefeated 6-0. Cycloid, invertible, but ground clearance issues, I believe. It's going to be good. Creighton, purely for the ring out last week. Yeah, Creighton had a really good ring out last week. Cycloid, Creighton. Cycloid has been really, really destructive. I think it's the most destructive middleweight in the league right now. So let's see how it goes. Lots of people siding with Creighton here. Oh, a big toss right out of the gate from Creighton. It's mistiming its flipping arms here. Or maybe it's trying to knock those axes off. It's hard to tell. It is getting some good flips on Cycloid, who bounced off the top of the wall. He almost got him over. I think, no, all 4 of the flipping arms are still there at the moment. It's got them on top of the extra armor that Cycloid has. Oh, there goes one of the axes. Went flying into the distance. So Cycloid being tossed around and getting really messed up. It's got smoke pouring out of it now. One of the flipping arms has come off. The grinders scored a control board hit on Cycloid. Another control board hit. Creighton is on the verge of winning this one, but it only has 2 flipping arms remaining. 2 of them have broken off. They're trying to break the count. Cycloid stuck against the wall. It has gotten free. And Creighton struggling with those 2 remaining flipping arms. 1 remaining flipping arm. So Cycloid trying to knock the weapons off of Creighton. Creighton going to put it on the grinder, though, and get the KO. A really hard-fought win in 92 seconds. And Meta have tied the match. That was fun. Yeah, that was a really good fight because Cycloid tried coming back there towards the end. It was really taking its toll on Creighton. Heavyweights time. Omnipresence, Sit and Spin, Flail Thwackbot, and Psychogenic Harmfulness, a double vertical spinner. I don't know how well Psychogenic Harmfulness has been doing. I think it's been kind of middle of the road, middle of the table so far. Predictions for Omnipresence versus Psychogenic Harmfulness. Psychogenic on the name alone. And now they get Omnipresent. Sinister's a bit too top-heavy on quality bots. Yeah, Sinister's got some really, really dangerous robots. So does Meta, to be fair. Omni, Psychogenic, Omni, because it's a debris bomb. I mean, you're not wrong. We are probably going to get some glitches going on here. I don't think Psychogenic Harmfulness has a whole lot of side protection. So Omnipresence might be able to get those wheels off or get the discs off here. It's lost one flail already on those supports. It's lost another flail. Psychogenic trying to avoid what just happened there, getting in too deep and losing a wheel, but it's happened now. Omnipresence getting the TKO count for not moving. It's kind of translating across the floor a little bit, but not enough. So that is a third Sit and Spin AI TKO. Humans need to drive these things. Yeah, if only it was that simple. Damn you to hell, AI. Yeah. Are all the Sit and Spin bots getting screwed in 1 week? That might happen here. The Sit and Spin AI mode is overpowered in Robot Arena 2 because all they do is stay in one spot, and the other robot, because of the way the AI modes work, just keep running into it and destroy themselves. So we usually rule against the Sit and Spin AI when it just sits in place and allows itself to be counted out as a counterbalance to being overpowered like that. Drive them both at once just to see the chaos. Yeah. Wonder if a Melty would be possible. There is a Melty Brain AI, and it is the most overpowered AI mode there is. It'll win every time, which is why we don't use it. Up next is Rabid Fox and Spearmint. Rabid Fox, a not invertible 4 vertical spinner weapon. Spearmint is this spiked wedge scoop. Also not an invertible robot. But Spearmint has been getting ringouts by scooping robots right over the wall. Rabid Fox, on the other hand, when it falls over, does a lot of damage just being upside down on top of things. So I think Robot Arena needs a multiplayer. Robot Arena multiplayer was shut down in like 2005. Here we go with Rabid Fox and Spearmint. A lot of people leaning towards Spearmint. Spearmint denied by Rabid Fox to start, and now they've both flipped over immediately on the same collision. How do we rule this one? What do you think, Burnout? Who wins this? Do we just go with who the game says got KO'd, or do we restart? Double TKO, seriously. We could also rule that neither of them win and nobody gets any points. That's an option. Both lose, no one wins, no one gets points. Please restart. Say restart. historically, I think for the Patreon show, what we would do in this case is restart. So we're going to restart until we get a valid result. And Spearmint nearly throwing Rabid Fox out on the first hit and then pushing it along the wall and getting it out on the second. That is a 6-second ring out from Spearmint. That gave Rabid Fox 0 chance on that one. So that means the number 1 team, Sinister Creations, has lost 7-3. 7-3 win for the meta bot builders over the number 1 team. And that is looking really good for their chances. I think Meta are in 4th going into this week. They're in 3rd going into this week. So they're going to move up in the standings potentially, depending on what Team Smash does. It is the top 4 that will make the playoffs eventually. Oh, the game crashed. Fantastic. Is that the fastest KO? That wasn't Sludge. It's the fastest fight-ending decision. It's the fastest ring out done by the opponent and not by the robot itself throwing itself out. But that is not what I wanted. I wanted this. Okay, so we get to move on to our next match. Match number 4, Valley View Robotics Club. And team number 13, which is the Orlando Commandos. Where's our Orlando representation in the chat? So Overvolter on Valley View, very powerful, very successful overhead axe so far this season. Airtime for Orlando is a piston flipper. Pistons are very strange the way they work in Robot Arena 2 because they're missing some of the laws of physics. Overvolter's not invertible. Airtime is sort of able to self-right, but it has no damaging components. Lots of people going with Overvolter for this one. Let's see how this turns out. Airtime getting Overvolter up and over right away. An excellent display of control and flipping from Airtime, and it's trying to stop Overvolter from getting itself upright, although I don't think it can anyway. Oh, it's going to toss it back on its wheels and give us some more fighting. Very sporting of Orlando here against the Chicago team. Probably not a good idea because Overvolter can strike quickly and with power. And oh, they are going to get it over. So now they almost allowed Overvolter back into the match, but now Airtime has gotten Overvolter upside down, and it cannot self-right on its own. And so as long as Airtime leaves it alone, Overvolter should get TKO'd here. There's the count. And it is official. 71 seconds Airtime with the TKO. Orlando strikes first with the first 2 points of the match. One of the most destructive lightweights getting trolled by Airtime, which has the least damage points in the entire league. It's less than 1,000 in now 7 matches. Ooh, I see a super chat up here from Tamabris. Finished a hearty meal and ready with beers. Going for Overvolter. Ah, it's a shame. Overvolter lost. Enjoy your beers though. Oh wait, you're in the UK, aren't you? So it's not Tamabris. It's like Taurus or Tomris or something. You gotta not pronounce the middle syllables. That's how English words work, right? So now moving on to the middleweights, we have Galactic Fabrication, a rear-hinged flipper for Valley View, and Q, a sit-and-spin spinner. It's not really a thwackbot, it's more of just a sit-and-spinner for Orlando. Is Q also going to suffer from AI problems? It is invertible, so Galactic Fabrication is not going to be able to TKO it just by tossing it over. How is Galactic Fabrication going to lose this week? I mean, if it throws away a third fight, it's gotten a win. It's gotten legitimately knocked out a couple times, but its reputation is throwing away fights that it had won. So, Sit and Spinners seem cursed this week. Galactic is going to throw it over the wall, Burnout says. Okay, we'll see about that. Let's see what happens between Q and Galactic Fabrication. Well, it got Q up in the air. Q's gotten spinning now. When it's getting lifted up in the air like that, it does get a little unstable. Galactic Fabrication got it over near the wall, but unable to really do much with it because those big wheels are getting traction and kind of tossing Q aside. One of the flipping arms, well, one of the flipping wedges has come off. It still has the extender there. Q trying to get its spinning attack into play. And now the other flipping wedge has come off. Interestingly, because Q is upside down, its spikes are higher off of the floor than they usually start. And because of the wedge shape of Galactic Fabrication, it's not able to do a whole lot of damage with it. Oh, but it has gotten a control board hit now. Galactic Fabrication trying to get Q into the grinder. Grinders have knocked some of the spikes off of Q. Galactic Fabrication trying to use its wheel guards to stop Q's attack. It's going to give itself a control board hit by running into Q. And there's the kill shot. All right, 3 points for Orlando. They are up 5-0 at the moment over Valley View. Really like watching Q flail around. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Loving the butchering, yes, in the UK. Going with Q. So if you're in the UK, you understand that Q, as a word, is just the letter Q followed by silent letters. And you can add as many U's and E's as you want on the end, and it'll still be pronounced Q. Moving on to the heavyweights. Cinnamon, that spiked scoop wedge, like Spearmint, and Drillosaurus, which is 3 kind of drill weapons in the front. A lot of damage that Drillosaurus can do. I think it won the heavyweights in the Patreon version of Robot Rampage. So Drillosaurus pretty dangerous. Cinnamon got a lot of defensive work up front, and Drillosaurus definitely with a lot of ground clearance. The 3 seas in Pacific Ocean are all pronounced differently. Don't you do that to us yet. Don't you make me analyze how bad the English language is. Cinnamon, Drillosaurus, Drillosaurus. Let's see what Cinnamon can do with Drillosaurus here. Yeah, very pensive at first. Not as aggressive as you'd expect. Maybe it's just taking its time getting under Drillosaurus. It's gotten Drillosaurus upside down now. Oh, it's been tossed away. That was a physics problem, definitely. I'm restarting that one. That is our first restart for a physics problem. Interesting how Cinnamon not being as aggressive as Spearmint was being in the other match. But it does have Drillosaurus against the wall now, and those spiked wedges are going to be doing damage to Drillosaurus from underneath. Oh no! Did Physics just attack again? What do you think, Burnout? Was that Physics doing dumb things? I'm pretty sure it was. That was a Physics. Ah. Restart. Having a bunch of weapon components spinning in one spot does not make this physics engine very happy. Cinnamon, again, being pretty careful how it attacks Drillosaurus and getting it pinned to the wall. That Scoop's doing a really good job controlling Drillosaurus, but Drillosaurus doing damage and taking the Scoop off. Now, Cinnamon does not have the ability to really scoop and push. In fact, it's really kind of on the defensive and backing into the grinder here. Decent ram into the wall there, but Drillosaurus getting those weapons into play. Drillosaurus onto the grinder now. One of the wheels has come off, so now Cinnamon taking advantage of the arena hazards. But Drillosaurus is damaging it from above and has killed it. So there we go. That push into the grinder, just a little bit too late for Cinnamon. So that is 8-0 for the Commandos. They are absolutely demolishing Valley View right now. And so it comes down to TekonoAxe with 4 side axes and Abrin with 4 vertical axes. Abrin has been very destructive. Not a whole lot of damage points total, but all of its damage points have been critical hits. Getting control board knockouts with like less than 5,000 damage points. Very, very dangerous overhead weapons on Abrin. And then TekonoAxe has been consistently knocking out robots that we didn't think it could knock out. It's been a very gutsy robot. Lots of people going for Abrin in this one. Abrin in 4 hits or less. Burnout trying to go for TekonoAxe to get some points back to Valley View. We'll see if see what TekonoAxe has for Abrin here. Abrin doesn't have a whole lot of reach, and TekonoAxe does have those defensive spikes. Oh, but it did get a big blow to the top of TekonoAxe. But it's crawled up on top of it now. They're going to have to break this to break a count, or TekonoAxe is going to push Abrin over to the wall. He's trying to attack Abrin from underneath with 2 remaining axes, because 2 of them have come off. 3 of them have come off. Control board hit from Abrin onto TekonoAxe. Abrin taking a wheel off now. And there's the kill shot. 32 seconds. Abrin absolutely destroying TekonoAxe. And so that is an 11-0 victory for Orlando over Valley View. A bit more than 4 hits. Is Abrin 7-0? No, Abrin has had a couple of losses. What do we have next? It is Team 11, the C Team. And Team number 5, Indiana Robotics Alliance. Welcome, Blackbird. I see you in the chat there. So we have Brickface. You're in time for our middle match, the match right in the middle of everything. Match number 5. Yeah, where is American Killjoy? He's The one time he's not in the chat, his team goes 4-0 for the match. How about that? So, Brickface for the C team, a sit and spin thwackbot with kind of an angled thwacker, a little bit like T-Rex from BattleBots. Indiana has X Factor, a horizontal spinner that's pretty low slung to the ground. It's they're both, well, X Factor's been damaging. Brickface has a really good shot at getting that weapon motor off. Bricky McBrickface. A lot of people going for Brickface. It did kill Kurbnalob in a single hit last week. American Killjoy is the bad luck charm to his own team. Don't we all feel like that when we support sports teams? Both robots coming out slowly. Brickface trying to get the weapon into the weapon motor, but it's been lopped off by X Factor immediately. And now Brickface is just a brick with way too much drive power. Ooh, what a shot on the wheel. X Factor just being really patient with this. Brickface throwing itself straight up in the air because of the dumb way that Robot Arena 2's wheel physics work. And that's the match. Or, well, that's the fight. Quick KO for Indiana over the C team, who started out at the league as one of the power teams. They've been slipping back in the standings lately. Where's C team at? They are 4th. They are on the bubble for the playoffs. Another, 8 or 9 weeks from now. However, C team coming out with the undefeated Explicit Equation in the middle weights against the Iron Curtain. 2 piston pokers. Iron Curtain's got one up above. Explicit Equation has 4 right down the center. Thoughts, predictions, chat, etc. Everybody going with Explicit Equation. Math is going to win. Math is, you cannot beat math. Science knows that math is the language of everything. You cannot beat math. Although Iron Curtain has a lot of defense here. But it doesn't have the reach that Explicit Equation has. Kind of funny how they're both just kind of like doing this with their pistons and they're not actually colliding with each other. So Explicit Equation now gotten through the front armor of the Iron Curtain, working on the chassis armor. Broken all of the armor panels off the front of the Iron Curtain. Just absolutely caving the front of it in. And that's the KO, 41 seconds. That ties the match up. So now, Explicit Equation is 7-0, all by knockout. 21 points Explicit Equation has scored for the C team. Interesting cross-like design that is. Yes, it is Explicit Equation. It is a plus sign, or if you turn it sideways, it's a multiplication sign, because it's math. Up next, we have Steel Dragon 2000 and Second Amendment. So Steel Dragon 2000 has kind of rear-hinged lifters and top-hinged stabbers. It's kind of a bitey robot. Second Amendment is a rammer that's got a bunch of spikes that are kind of wedged, angled down, and it's been pretty powerful. It's been winning some fights. Steel Dragon 2000's not been doing as well. Second Amendment in honor of Biden. I like it. Although it was the other guy that was more of a Second Amendmenter, but we'll see what the Second Amendment has for Steel Dragon 2000 here. Doing some damage to those lower motors to start with. There's smoke coming out of one of them. Steel Dragon gonna bite away at Second Amendment here. Look at this, getting a great bite. A lot of damage to that top corner of Second Amendment. Second Amendment getting away from one of them, but going right in again. It's lost most of its lower spikes. Steel Dragon's killed it. It's stabbed it from above the whole time. Is that the first KO for Steel Dragon 2000? It might be. Second Amendment trying to do a pushing match, and Steel Dragon just said okay and kept killing it. That's another 3 points for the C team. They take the lead 6-3. Didn't expect that out of Steel Dragon 2000. I know, right? It's been pretty passive so far. So C team is team 11. They have Hyogini in the super heavyweights. Indiana has Black Widow. Hyogini, 8-wheel drive, loads of spikes, rammer, very fast. Black Widow has a single drill in the front and a lot of side protection. It's got wheels inside the chassis, and it's got a lot of side spikes that look like legs. Who do we think is going to win this one? Black Widow not invertible, Hyogini is. Oh look, another Black Widow. It's almost as if many people can have the same idea for robots. I know, right? It's almost like they're all themed off of a dangerous creature or something. Be great to have Exterminator from Robot Wars in this. Is what I cannot read your name. I don't even know how to pronounce those characters. I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead and get this started. Only a few people. Hyogini. A lot of people going with Hyogini for this one. Hyogini just threw itself upside down. How? Why? Por qué? Hyogini is really struggling for traction here. It's not very fast upside down, is it? That's very interesting. I don't think it's ever had to drive upside down yet, has it? Worst Fetco? Oh, that was just physics doing that. I'm going to have to restart that one. Orest Fetco. I'm going to have to remember that. Back wheels are the only ones on the ground when it's inverted. Okay, glitch. Yeah, restart. Interesting. So Hyogini only has one set of wheels on the ground when it's upside down. I did not know that. 8 wheels and it's somehow slow. Whoa, what an attack that was. I need to pay attention instead of reading chat. Black Widow trying to hide from Hyogini by sitting on top of it. Hyogini upside down now, so only his rear wheels are touching the ground. Black Widow not really able to do anything with this wall of spikes in the way. Gladiator style slam. Yeah, that absolutely was. That was a great slam. Just screw the consequences, full ramming speed type of a ram. So now Black Widow's weapon has come off. It's just broken it off on all the spikes on Hyogini. And now I think Hyogini is just going to... Well, Black Widow's going to ram itself to death. Now it's getting to the wheels now that it doesn't have a weapon. Should have done that earlier, Black Widow. You miss Vlad. I miss Gladiator too, man. The Vlad robots were my favorites. Oh! Black Widow putting Hygiene into the grinder. Hygiene's lost one of those wheels. It's stuck on the wall now? Oh, Black Widow, don't kill yourself. You have this one won. No! That was unfortunate. Well, that is another win for the C team. That is 9-3. And the C team win it with a lot of points, too. They're going to probably move up in the standings. Where's the C team at? 4th? Yeah. Well, them and Meta just had good matches, so the whole second division is got some really strong teams in it. Teams 8 and 6 are up next. The Armchair Engineers and Heavy Metal Robotics. So, the Armchair Engineers have Whipwreck, a sit-and-spin flail thwackbot. Heavy Metal has Voidwalker, which is a 360 tri-bar spinner. Interestingly, and I said this last week, I'm saying it again, my brother, Burnout RCT22, and I, we have officially started our own real-life combat robotics team together, and we've called it Heavy Metal Robotics, because we're both really into heavy metal music. We got the idea from this league, this team we made in this league, so we have a Facebook page for Heavy Metal Robotics now if you guys want to look that up. That's got all my robots on it so far. If Voidwalker loses here, we'll see. Voidwalker's not invertible, and Whipwreck has a lot of drive power. I think Whipwreck got a ring out. Was it last week or the week before? Just on drive power. Does that mean I'm going to buy the robot Heavy Metal? No. Oh, Voidwalker just takes the flail right off of Whipwreck. So, Whipwreck is weaponless. It has the whip, but none of the wreck. Voidwalker's just going to stalk it. So Whipwreck's got to hope that it can use its drive power here, and it's pretty lost so far. In fact, it's about to get KO'd. Lost a wheel now. It's just trying to get away. Good try. Voidwalker wins by KO. Next up is a multi-bot. It's our first of the 2 multi-bots. Heavy Metal respect, yeah. Oh, Burnout put the Heavy Metal Facebook page in the chat. Okay, so middleweights, Mini Berserker, 2 horizontal spinners. For the Armchair Engineers, Heavy Metal has Heartbreak and Seance, a multi-bot team. Heartbreak has the piston poker, Seance has a rear-hinged flipper. Heartbreak and Seance are really good at double-teaming robots that are not paying attention. Mini Berserker actually is in my notes as one of the 4 robots that has not yet won a fight. It is 0 and 6. So what are our predictions for this one? Mini Berserker's weapons are at the right height for Heartbreak and Seance. Heartbreak going alone. Mini Berserker. Heartbreak was a traitor last week. It was. It killed its own teammate. Glitch fight coming up. Depends if Heartbreak and Seance can take those weapon motors off. Both Berserker robots have had a lot of problems with the weapon motors coming off. So, Mini Berserker going after Seance to start. Heartbreak is trying to get in there and get some damage in. It looks like Seance is going to get KO'd pretty quickly here. It has now. So now Heartbreak going right down the middle of Mini Berserker and getting at the chassis. Heartbreak doing some work here. Mini Berserker not swinging those horizontal spinners around. Look at this. Heartbreak doing all the work once again. Jim Dramatic has pizza. Huzzah indeed. Zerker reminds me of Shredder from Robot Wars. Kind of similar. Zerker not doing a very good job here. Now it's starting to move those horizontal spinners around. Getting some damage. Now, oh, it's got the weapon off of Heartbreak, so now Heartbreak is weaponless. I think Mini Berserker's going to wrap this one up. Eventually. Seance is kind of sacrificial. It's a good wedge. Yeah, Seance has usually been the first one knocked out in the mini-bot fights. Oh, a wheel off of Heartbreak now. Control board hits. Only a matter of time unless Mini Berserker manages to screw this up somehow. Which, I mean, it is the Armchair Engineers. There's the win in 99 seconds. Mini Berserker's first win of the whole season. And that is, the match is tied now, 3-3. So, heavyweight, oh, back to the mini-bots, or the multi-bots. So, the Armchair Engineers and the heavyweights have Axis and Allies. And Heavy Metal has Vacuity. So Axis is a front hinge flipper, and Allies is a double vertical spinner. Vacuity for the Heavy Metal is a battle axe, an overhead battle axe, but it's got a lot of defensive pontoons going on. Ooh, Speed King. Hey, hope this helps you. Hope your brother fully recovers. If I had a team in this, it would be called Team Baked Potato. Baked potatoes are good. Bots would be called Spud, Potato, Baked Potato, and French Fries. That is a great team. Hey, you can still get involved in Season 2. We've not yet gotten the build rules or anything out yet for Season 2, but we do have a Discord server. You can join. The link's in the description. We have all the discussion and everything in there. People are showing off the robots they're building for next season. Totally feel free to get involved with next season of the Robot Rampage League, man. Mini Berserker scored some points. Yes, it did. Axis and Allies is the preferred one for this fight. So let's see what happens here between them and Vacuity. Vacuity's got a lot of defense. It's going to go for the bigger threat, which is definitely Allies, and it's knocked the weapon right off of Vacuity immediately, but Allies is on its side. So Axis being left to handle this on his own. Vacuity getting those spiked pontoon wedges in play, but going right up the wedge for Axis, and Axis is trying to get that front hinge flipper into play. Doesn't look like it has the power to get Vacuity totally over. Somehow Allies is still in this fight. It hasn't been counted out yet. Always loses the axe. Yeah, it's a very vulnerable axe on Vacuity. Burnout, we are definitely not naming a real-life robot after Vacuity. Allies has no allies. Correct. Axis always turns its back on its allies. Yeah, Vacuity pushing Axis around. Axis just doing his best to hold on here. Try and get underneath, but Vacuity just bullying him. That's what you get for taking out the exciting half, a push fight, yeah. Too bad the size difference is so obvious. Yeah, that's the major downside to using a multi-bot team is they are a fraction of the size and power of the larger robots. And now Vacuity has pushed Axis into the grinder and taken a wheel off of it. I think Allies has been officially counted out now, so it's not in the match anymore. Which Allies taken out by TKO, so the most points that Vacuity can get here is 2, even if it does KO Axis with the grinder here. 45 seconds left for Vacuity to get more than 1 point out of this. Axis can't get away from the corner. Oh, yes it can. So Vacuity's just going to push it back there. And that is the match. 23 seconds remaining. What would that be? 57? 157 seconds? Math time. First win for Vacuity. No, I think Vacuity has won a judge's decision. But Vacuity is not doing so well this season. This might be only its second win. Axis deciding suicide was the best option, just like real life. Now, super heavyweights. The Armchair Engineers have Smashy McSmashface. And unfortunately, they're going against the best super heavyweight in the league, Aqua Dementia. Smashy McSmashface, 5 hammers. Aqua Dementia is a side-hinged flipper with a bunch of spiked flippers on the side-hinged motors. Who do we think is going to win this fight? Speaking of multibots, what does everyone think of Gemini? I will let my opinions on the new robots be known in another video next week. What game is this? This is Robot Arena 2. It was a game released in like 2003. And we built our own custom robots and everything for the AI. Aqua Dementia, Aqua Dementia. Yeah, Smashy McSmashface is going to have a bad time. Let's see. We'll see who has the better wedge here. Smashy got down off the wall. It's tossed itself up in the air, and now Aqua Dementia is going to rip into the underside of it. Interestingly, I think this is the longest Smashy has maintained all of its weapons. Usually they get torn off right away. Oh, there goes one of them. Oh, it's KO'd already. Look at that. That was 17 seconds. So that is an 8-3 win for Heavy Metal. All 3 undefeated robots remain undefeated. Cool. That's true. Explicit Equation, Creighton, and Aqua Dementia. 7-0. Doing very well so far. After that, we have our next match with River City Robotics facing the Robot Rebels. So, Little Rock, Arkansas versus Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan coming in clutch in this election. So, River City Robotics has Network, which is a saw spinner. Saw blades do damage slowly over time, so they're considered a different type of spinner to verticals or horizontals in the league. Overclock is a piston poker that's kind of wedge-shaped. Network has been surprisingly good. I think it got its first loss of the season last week. So let me know what your predictions are for this. Aqua Dementia S tier. Yeah, absolutely. One of the best in the whole league. I want a refund. Little Rock isn't just a little rock. True. Quite a few people going for overclock, quite a few going for network. Overclock might have the reach to get to network's weapon motors, which is what was its downfall in its previous fight. Network, yeah, not able to get to Overclock's chassis, but Overclock's not really getting into the weapon motors. Now it is. It's kind of hitting the saw blades first. Network getting pushed back against the wall by Overclock. Yeah, Network doesn't really have a whole lot here. Overclock's definitely on the offensive here. It's gotten one of the weapons off of Network. Got a clear shot into the chassis of Overclock. There's the other saw off, or Network I meant. There's the other motor. Network is more or less helpless here. But Overclock's weapon being pointed downward isn't entirely optimized for stabbing. It's more for functioning as a lifter and as a wedge and a weapon at the same time. It is slowly doing damage to Network. Oh, he's got him up on the wedge and into the grinder now. That's a KO. "67 seconds. Detroit comes out on top in the first match with a 3-point knockout. So many bots this stream getting turned into suitcases. I mean, they might have started off as suitcases. Piss yellow, another underused color alongside poop brown. You're not wrong. Next fight in the middleweights. Cleansing, front hinged flipper, dramatic, vertical spinner, kind of a vague drum shape. Dramatic is not invertible. Cleansing has struggled heavily. I think it's only got one win this season. Cleansing is not doing very well this season, but it does have really big exposed wheels here. People going with dramatic, people going with cleansing, Jim going for the underdog. I think cleansing's the underdog here. I think it's the one doing worst. Let's see what cleansing has for dramatic here, if it can get underneath it far enough to use that front hinged flipper. Well, it got the flipper into the weapon motor, or at least into the weapon. If it's not careful, it's going to lose it to dramatic here. Oh, it's done damage to the weapon motor, though. I think cleansing's trying to take the weapon off of dramatic. Oh, now it's got it upside down. Oh, there it goes. Flipper has come off of cleansing, so now it's just a push bot. It's got those long spikes on the front to help out-wedge other robots, but it's not helping it much because Dramatic's just digging into the front of the chassis. Oh, but Cleansing's going to try and get Dramatic flipped upside down, and it has. So Dramatic cannot drive upside down, and it cannot self-right. Cleansing... Oh, physics just happened. And Cleansing's been stuffed into the floor. We get to restart. There's one for the glitch highlight video. This time Cleansing getting to the side of Dramatic and getting it up. Dramatic flipping itself over with the torque from that motor. It's doing damage to the front wedge of Cleansing here. Cleansing still trying to get that flipper in to take that weapon motor off. And it's broken its flipper off once again. But Dramatic is definitely upside down this time. Cleansing tried to get it to the grinder. Didn't even see it scrolling through Twitter. Don't do that. What's the most restarts? That is a question for Burnout. He's the one that keeps track of the restarts. It was a lot. Cleansing kind of struggling here against Dramatic. Dramatic's got smoke coming out of its weapon motor, but there's not really much Cleansing can do other than ram it into the wall and into the grinder and hope for the best. Oh, now Dramatic bounced off the top of the grinder again. Cleansing really working hard here to try and secure this win. It's been struggling a lot lately. But Dramatic proving to be pretty durable, even though that weapon is really hurting. Oh, the weapon comes off now. So now it's down to pushing, and oh, physics happened. Yep. That's what happens when a motor comes off in Robot Arena 2 is physics goes angry. Well, Dramatic's upside down. Cleansing's pushing it over towards the grinder again. Once again attacking the spinning drum and losing its flipping arm. Now it's going to ram Dramatic into the wall. Dramatic unfazed by the attack. Oh, and it's gotten underneath Cleansing and knocked it over. So now Dramatic is the one with the underhand. Cleansing able to get back down onto its wheels upright, but Dramatic's got it on the grinder and is going to get a knockout here. Look at that. That is another win for the Rebels. And now that is 6 points, so the Rebels cannot lose this match. They can only be tied if the other two fights go to River City. And this is why you never take the underdog side. Yeah, right. You just said earlier that you were cheering for the underdogs, Jim. Okay, heavyweights, Jaws of Death, side-swinging spiked clubs. The Rebels have Zika, 3 rear-hinged flippers. Zika only has damaging components on the rear as a defensive measure, so Jaws of Death has the firepower advantage here, and it is invertible. Zika had an awesome, a couple of awesome ring outs so far this season. Who do we think is likely to win this one? Really want Zika, Zika, Jaws, Zika. We'll see. Zika does have the plows on the side for protection from side attacks, so we'll see if Jaws of Death has any answer for that, or if it's just going to get tossed around by Zika. Well, it's been tossed. Zika is mistiming its flipping arms for the moment, and that's allowed Jaws to get underneath Zika. But Zika's gotten it upside down, and it's not flipping it over more. It's just going to let it swing wildly. So this might end up having to break a pin here. So yeah, Zika backs up and breaks the pin. And now Zika tosses it in the air once again. Should have been doing that when they were close to the wall. Zika, 2 of the flipping arms come off now. It's gotten Jaws of Death over to the corner grinder. Jaws of Death has a little bit of protection for those wheels. Zika's lost all of its weapons now, and one of its plows. But now, Jaws of Death stuck with its wheels off of the floor. And Zika rights it. Oh man, it just threw that fight. So now Jaws pretty much has free reign to just attack the front of Zika and cave it in. Knock away the last of the plows. Zika trying to get it back over to the grinder once again, but I think it made a critical mistake putting Jaws back into the fight. There's a control board hit. There's the kill shot. All right. It's what, 105 seconds? So, River City claws back 3 points. But can they tie the matchup? Jaws reminded me of Tough as Nails from Robot Wars. Yeah, a little bit. It's more of a swinging weapon rather than a crushing weapon. But yeah, pretty similar shape. So River City has Overseer in the super heavyweights. The Rebels come in with Heart Attack. So Overseer is a horizontal spinner with a huge amount of defensive features on the front. It's not invertible. Heart Attack is invertible, sort of, and it's a wedgy pusher with like some spikes across the top to stop stuff from going over the top of it. Who do we think is going to have the advantage here? I think Overseer is one of the 4 robots that has no wins this season. Like Overseer, but not great strike rate. Heart Attack to win. Yeah, Heart Attack looks pretty good. Razor says Zika is feeling sick. Let's see what Heart Attack can do here with Overseer. Overseer's a big bot, and it does have a spinning weapon, which is wide enough it could get to Heart Attack's wheels. Heart Attack's going to push it into the grinder. Overseer with a lot of defense on the rear. Oh, it's gotten to the side of Heart Attack and gotten into those wheels. Not able to take any of it. Now one of the wheels comes off, and then Physics throws everybody up in the air. So Overseer not totally helpless from the looks of things. Let's see what it can do here. Big ram by Heart Attack. And again, Overseer getting that spinning weapon over to the side of Heart Attack and into that front wheel. Heart Attack doing a good job pushing it around and keeping it at bay and trying to get those spikes in to get a little bit of damage. Overseer with a lot of defense protecting its weapon, but now Heart Attack been thrown onto the wall by the Physics engine. We're on restart number 3. Heart Attack getting Overseer to the wall once again. Overseer really getting around to the side this time. He's gotten one wheel, going for some more. Heart Attack not happy about that. Absolutely just pressing Overseer into the wall now. Going with Overseer because the stream has been so crazy. If Overseer's going to get a victory, now's the time. Yeah, Overseer's doing pretty good. This is the best Overseer's done all season. Especially because Heart Attack really does not like the Physics engine so far. Jesus fuck Heart Attack. It's always that left side that's flipping Heart Attack over. Something about the way that the weapon of Overseer is interacting with the side of Heart Attack. I think it's going between the 2 defensive spikes, and Physics is just not happy about that. See? Like, parts aren't even breaking off. It's just the game doesn't want these parts intermeshing together. Well, the rule that we came up with is if we go to 10 restarts, then we're going to move on, and Burnout and I will finish this fight off stream if we get that far. Also, Heart Attack getting Overseer into the grinder this time, and it's lost a wheel now. So Overseer getting crippled early here. It's taken a wedge off of Heart Attack in response. Oh, the disc is gone now. Okay, so Heart Attack has gotten the disc off and a wheel, so Overseer is crippled this time. As long as the physics engine cooperates, then Heart Attack will probably wrap this fight up. Might not get more than 1 point out of this. It might end up going to the judges because Heart Attack does not have a whole lot of KO power. Ooh, big ram there from Heart Attack. Robot Rampage, but every time there's a glitch, it speeds up. I want to see that. Somebody do that. Someone tell the Kraken to go back to Kerbal Space Program. No, Kraken is in Season 5 of BattleBots. We need to see Kraken there. Heart Attack is causing issues. Yes, that's what Heart Attacks do. They cause issues. Just pressing Overseer into the wall repeatedly here. Oh no, don't pin it. You have this fight wrapped up, and now you're going to restart it on a pin? Come on, Heart Attack. That's a pin. We got to restart. Because Overseer was definitely breaking counts before that. It could have gotten away. Well, it's got Overseer pinned to the wall once again. And Physics was not happy about it. I think it might be from all the stress put on that axle. Well, here we are. Overseer being pushed into the wall by Heart Attack. Overseer really slow, not able to really do much at all, other than just slightly get away from the wall and then get attacked again. Not able to get... oh, it is kind of getting into the side of Heart Attack's wheels now. And those stabilizing sword pieces in the front for Overseer is keeping Heart Attack kind of at bay. Oh, one of the wheels is off now. So Overseer getting that weapon around to the side. Physics again. How many restarts is this, Burnout? Is this the last one? Saying you need swords to keep Heart Attacks at bay. I mean, it's working so far. It's keeping Overseer in this match because it keeps Heart Attack at bay, and then they get a restart out of it, and they get another chance. So maybe Overseer getting around underneath Heart Attack on the left side this time. Interesting with Overseer getting the underhand here. It's gotten the middle wheel off. It's gotten two wheels off. Overseer taking advantage of Heart Attack's driving errors here. And one of the wedges is now broken off of Heart Attack. Okay. I did not see Overseer having this much of a comeback this late in the attempt to run the fight. Oh, but the disc has come off now. Overseer basically weaponless against Heart Attack, which is basically unable to drive in a straight line. Oh, one of the plates that was defending the weapon motor is broken off of Overseer. They're both just like locked together trying to push the other. Well, neither of them are doing so well, and Overseer's got its wheels held off the ground by a piece of heart attack that's broken off. Oh, but it's able to move around. Can it break the official, the count? Yes. Overseer was able to get away. Heart attack made it as difficult as possible to get away, but Overseer did get away. Overseer just pushing against Heart Attack, and Heart Attack not able to push back with its drive so lopsided. This one is going to go down to the judges, and I feel bad for the judges having to watch this fight. There we go. Judge's decision. Now, that wins the match for the Robot Rebels. The Robot Rebels were up 6-3. The most points that can come out of a judge's decision victory is 1. So even if River City Robotics wins, they'll only get 1 point out of it, and it'll be a 6-4 loss. So that is a win for the Robot Rebels. And we are going to move on to our penultimate match. No, we are not. We are going to crash the game and then have to restart it. Didn't witness 10 restarts. We witnessed 10 alternate realities. Mobber's already on his second beer. You drink beer a lot slower than some of the people that I know, which is a good thing. You shouldn't drink beer too quickly. Bad things happen. We're going to move on to penultimate match. The Baltimore Kestrels facing, I think it's Team Smash. Yes. So the Kestrels have El Gringo in the lightweights, four-wheel drive rammer, invertible. Team Smash has Bubblegum, which is also a rammer. It's two-wheel drive. It's got that spike scoop, but it is not invertible. I think they're both doing about equal in terms of record. They're both being pretty average. Predictions on El Gringo versus Bubblegum. Bubblegum, Bubblegum, Bubblegum. El Gringo, because invertible. El Gringo is like Gizmo. El Gringo, yeah, kind of split at the moment. Let's see how this one goes. Team Smash definitely higher in the standings than the Kestrels, so the Kestrels definitely hoping for some points here. El Gringo, the compact, probably the smallest, most compact robot in the league. Going right up that scoop for Bubblegum. Bubblegum with the greater drive power and speed. It's trying to right itself whenever its wheels touch the ground, but Gringo's going to push it into the grinder. Bubblegum trying to get itself righted whenever its wheels touch the ground, but again, it's on its back and unable to move. And El Gringo is going to take the TKO. Nice victory there for El Gringo in 55 seconds. And that is an early 2 points to the Baltimore Kestrels. So now it comes down to the middleweights, Drigger and Planetary Conqueror. Drigger has kind of a piston poker, like a tiger claw shaped weapon to it. Planetary Conqueror is an overhead bar spinner. A lot of drive power in Planetary Conqueror. Drigger is invertible, Planetary Conqueror is not. Everybody going for Planetary Conqueror in this one. Drigger does have those big exposed wheels, so we'll see what happens. Oh, immediately their weapons getting locked together. Planetary Conqueror with the drive power, and Drigger's lost half of its weapon already. But it is getting that piston in and getting chassis damage on Planetary Conqueror, who's not able to get into Drigger's chassis, but it did get a wheel. So now Drigger missing a wheel, trying to do what it can with a single remaining spike on its weapon. Planetary Conqueror's weapon slightly too high to hit Drigger's chassis. So now they're just going to push in a circle here. Drigger is a PP3D with a piston instead of an undercutter. Yeah, pretty similar shape. Time for screen sickness or motion sickness. Yeah, unless Planetary Conqueror can get the KO here. That is 71 seconds. And a 3-2 lead for Team Smash now. How did those hits happen? They must have just been scraping the top of Drigger. So the heavyweights, we have Warbird and Bioshocker. Warbird's a rear hinge flipper. Bioshocker is a double vertical spinner. Why both of their photos look exactly the same, I don't know. Bioshocker was undefeated until last week when it got thrown out of the ring by Zika. So Warbird gonna have a tough match here, but Bioshocker apparently weak against flippers. Everybody going with Bioshocker except a few. Let's see what Warbird and Bioshocker have for each other here. Oh, big toss by Warbird has got Bioshocker on its back. And then the game just immediately crashed. Like, not even close. That was interesting. Haven't seen that one out of the game yet. Took 7 weeks for the game to just straight crash during a match. Whereas if I were to play Robot Arena 2 DSL, it would crash pretty much the moment I load into the game. Let's try it again. So Warbird getting Bioshocker upside down once again. Gonna get it over near the wall. Its flippers are kind of mistimed though, so it can't really get a good flip on it. But now Bioshocker's underneath the flippers, doing damage with those 2 vertical spinners. It's gotten one of the flipping arms broken. Warbird getting under with one of them. There goes the middle flippers broken off. So Warbird down to a single flipping arm. Not enough to lift Bioshocker over. Bioshocker not able to get away from Warbird's wedge. Is Warbird going to push it across the ring and knock it into the wall? Oh, Warbird's lost the last flipping arm. That's what's going on here. But it has the wedging power. And it's got Bioshocker's wheels dangerously close to that grinder. Ooh, Bioshocker tried to go for a wheel. Warbird's side protection, those wings were there. Now Warbird going to go for a grinder again. And it got a wheel. A great attack by Warbird. So Bioshocker crippled here. Warbird weaponless. Both of them with a lot of defensive features on the sides and those front corners. And Warbird's just going to scoop right underneath Bioshocker once again. And he's going to take it to another grinder. Nearly got Bioshocker flipped over. Warbird's absolutely taking control of this fight. 40 seconds remaining before the judges get called in. And you know, I gotta feel like Warbird is the one in control of this fight so far. Bioshocker's struggling to move right now. It's able to break the count, no problem, but with 20 seconds left, I don't think there's anything Bioshocker can do here. And Warbird's just going to toss it onto the grinder again and lose its own wheel to the grinder. So a mistimed attack by Warbird to end the fight. Right, that is another judge's decision. And you know what? I'm leaning towards thinking Warbird might win that one. Really gutsy fight from Warbird despite losing its weapon pretty early. So now super heavyweight time. It is Berserker, 4 horizontal spinners, and id, which has 4 pistons that have rows of spikes on them. Id has been extremely destructive early in the season and kind of fallen off a little bit here. Berserker is not doing so well. It's only got a couple of wins so far this season. What are your predictions for, Berserker versus id? Glitches galore. Warbird had that match until the very end. Yeah, that was looking like it was going to be Warbird's, and then they ended the fight in basically the same state of operation. So it'll be curious to see what the judges make of that. Berserker is a power-up on Doom. Id to win. Lots of people leaning towards id on this one. We will see what id has for Berserker, what Berserker can do to id, because id's got a lot of firepower up front. Id immediately going, and taking a wheel off. Taking a weapon motor off. Id is not holding back here. The physics engine's doing its best to stop it. It hasn't really affected the fight, and now Berserker's completely wheelless and more or less disabled. And id is going to get control board hits on it. And that's a KO. 27 seconds. So that wins the match for Team Smash. The Kestrels have 2 points, Team Smash has 6, and there's a single point remaining for the judges to decide. So Team Smash wins that with 6 points. Pretty decisively. That was a very quick fight. And that brings us to our final match of the stream. Pink Chaos against Hive Academy. Arrive, wreck stuff, leave. Yep, that's the name of the game here. I don't know how id did that. Very carefully and aggressively and violently. So, Pink Chaos has Unprettier with the overhead claw. Hive has Jinx, a side-hinged flipper. Unprettier is not invertible, but it can sort of self-right if it's left alone. Predictions. Who do we think? 2 pink robots. When it comes to robot colors, there is only pink. There need to be more pink robots in the world. It's an underutilized color. Looks like more people are favoring Jinx in this one. Unprettier did end up losing to Hailstorm 4, which was another flipper. So let's see what Unprettier has for Jinx. Oh, it was a stalemate, but Jinx got the first blow. Unprettier getting the wedge. And now Jinx getting underneath Unprettier and tossing it into the air. Not able to get it over yet. Unprettier a little bit too stable. Now, oh, Jinx is getting to the side of Unprettier, getting to the rear, and getting that flipping arm underneath. Not really a whole lot that Unprettier's done in this one. It's trying to get away from Jinx so that it can line up again, but Jinx is not letting it. Now they're going to stalemate their wedges. BattleBot's worst nightmare. A wedge stalemate. Wait until I see Jim Dramatic Season 2 entries. I would love to see Jim Dramatic enter Season 2. Oh, that was a great flip by Jinx. Now it's going to try and take that weapon arm off of Unprettier, but it just rights Unprettier instead. That could come back to haunt Jinx if Unprettier gets back into this match, but Jinx is not letting up at all. Ooh, it got Unprettier in front of it, but it's we're back to a little bit of a wedge stalemate here. Jinx is not a robot. She is not. Jinx, I believe in Teen Titans, in the cartoon show, Jinx's weapon was bad luck. So maybe it's just bad luck that Unprettier had to face it. Just need to download RA2 and plan builds. GameTechMods.com has the downloads for Robot Arena 2. This is stock 1.4 version for Robot Arena 2 that we're using. Ooh, Jinx got a wheel off of Unprettier now. Unprettier not having a good time. And there goes the weapon off of Unprettier. Control board hits. Unprettier doing its best to try and last to the judges to stop Jinx from getting too many points here, but I think this is pretty clearly going to be a Jinx victory. Just a matter of how many points Jinx is going to get out of it. I think it's too late for a TKO now because there's only 15 seconds left in the match. And Unprettier is going to do it. Unprettier is going to make it last to the judges. Good job by Pink Chaos to limit the number of points that Hive gets out of this one. Unprettier is ugly. No, it is unpretty. So now we have Overthrown for Pink Chaos, a double front-hinged flipper, and Gizmo, a very fast and way too aggressive rammer that is invertible. What are your predictions? I think I know what the longtime viewers' predictions are going to be here. Thank you. Main concern is getting a virus from it. GameTech Mods, I believe the version that they have up for download is virus-free, because that's where everybody gets it from. Sludge Fest. Yes, I think we're going to have a Sludge Fest, a Gizmo Fest here. There's a very good possibility Gizmo's just going to drive straight over Overthrown and out of the ring. Jinx deserved more there. Jinx did a lot of work, but it wasn't quite able to seal the match and get more points. Being defensive is just as important as being offensive in the league. All right, let's see what happens with Gizmo. Oh no, it does not go out of the ring right away. It Overthrown tosses it out of the ring itself. So it was not Gizmo's doing, it was not a Sludge Fest, it was just Overthrown doing its thing. It got a lot of damage in those 2 hits. Look at that, 1900 to 1900. 2 hits, 6 seconds. That's the most damage per second, I think, in a match. Well, that was interesting. Moving on to the heavyweights. So, Pink Chaos has Panther, which is another rammer, another invertible rammer. Hive has Mammoth, which has 2 overhead axes, 2 side axes. Mammoth has been surprisingly gutsy for a robot so far this season. Who do we think is going to win between Panther and Mammoth? Gutsiest robot versus the greatest pun in the RRL. Yeah, I think Mammoth is going to win, you guys. You guys have everybody going with Mammoth. But Razor says Panther is the predator and Mammoth is the prey. I've seen this movie before. There were sloths involved. Oh, Mammoth getting a lot of damage on Panther's chassis. It's got the reach to get past those spikes. Panther getting around behind Mammoth and knocking its armor off and putting Mammoth into the grinder. Panther trying to get around to the flank of Mammoth and get away from those axes. Big hit from Panther. Another big hit. I think it hit the off button on Mammoth. Ah, physics, why? Ooh, Panther was able to avoid an attack there. But Mammoth made good on the attack the second time, so Panther's going to push Mammoth over into the wall. It's not done a whole lot of damage to Mammoth. Oh, now it's got Mammoth and pushed it into the grinder. A great attack by Panther. Going for Mammoth's wheels, or at least trying to get those side axes out of the way so Panther doesn't end up losing wheels in the process. There's a wheel off of Mammoth now. Panther is stuck on it and can't get free. It's going to push Mammoth into the grinder. Mammoth has a little bit of protective components in the front. Oh, but Mammoth snipes a wheel off. And Panther can't get out of the corner fast enough to avoid taking some more hits. So now Panther cannot drive in a straight line. It's knocked the rear armor off of Mammoth anyway. Mammoth's going to get some more hits on the wheels of Panther and on the chassis. So Panther's taken a lot of damage. It's lost a lot of spikes. And it's lost 2 wheels now. Mammoth, once again, fighting back real hard from the brink of defeat. Has to break a count now. And it's going to do so. Panther losing its claws. It's just got those spikes in the front left. Mammoth still got 4 axes going to town on Panther. And it's gotten the KO. Mammoth with the KO while backed into a corner. I told you guys Mammoth was gutsy. I think Mammoth might be the robot that has the most come from behind victories. So our final fight of the stream, Hive and Dysfunctional Stepsister. KO followed by a glitch. Perfection. Yes, I love when you get stuff like that. So Hive is one of the most destructive super heavyweights. It's scored a lot of points. Dysfunctional Stepsister is 2 and 4. It's not been doing very well, mainly because it keeps mistiming its 10 flipping arms. Hive has double-length pistons on the front. I think Dysfunctional Stepsister will have no trouble getting under Hive. It's a matter of how much damage it's going to take in the process. Because Dysfunctional Stepsister has been doing great getting robots up in the air, but then it loses. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this one? Stepsister, please don't suck. Hive has the reach. Once you go pink, you don't think. True. Hive's pistons will be too high to do too much damage. Lots of very valid opinions here. I think it's going to come down to whether or not Dysfunctional Stepsister can keep those flipping arms in sync. It's gotten Hive up into the air, tossed it fully around, but now it's gotten the flipping arms up on top, and Hive is doing damage and knocking flipping arms out of the way. Stepsister's gotten it upside down, and it's going to leave it alone. No, it's going to toss it. Flipping arms out of sync once again. It's knocked a piston off. We've not had a physics glitch from that piston coming off. The game really hates pistons being torn off. So look, Stepsister's gotten all the flipping arms desynced once again. And this is going to give Hive an advantage if Hive can get turned around. One of the wheels has now come off. Stepsister gotten Hive back up into the air, though. And there is physics getting angry. We'd normally vote against Dysfunctional Stepsister. Well, we'll see. It's gotten Hive up in the air. Hive has just kind of hovered using the pistons because of the way physics works in this game. Oh, what a big toss. That was all 10 of the flipping arms at once. The wheels come off of Hive now. Hive on its back and near the grinder. Stepsister not getting deep enough to hit the pistons with those flipping arms. It's just kind of attacking the corner there. The grinder's taking a wheel off. Hive being counted out. Now, I think it can break the count just by moving with its pistons. In fact, it has. Stepsister's gotten a control board hit on it. And physics threw everything into the air before the end of the match. Space, the final glitch. This is Robot Arena 2 Space Program. So there's Hive upside down once again. Stepsister not going to throw it. Going to leave it alone for the time being. And instead choose to miss all of its flipping arms and just park on top of it. It's so odd because Dysfunctional Stepsister was undefeated in our Patreon version of Robot Rampage, and I changed nothing about it, and now it just cannot use its flipping arms effectively. But it's going to leave Hive alone and take a TKO. So that is a win in 40 seconds for Dysfunctional Stepsister. And we do not know the results of this match. So right now, Pink Chaos has 4 points, Hive has 3, and there's 1 point remaining in a judge's decision. So if it goes to Hive, which I think it's going to go to Hive because of Jinx, that'll be a tied match. That'll be 4-4. So I think Pink Chaos already has 3 matches that they've tied. Like, Pink Chaos is really good at draws. But okay, that's the end of the week 7 of the Robot Rampage League. Some great fights, some really surprising wins, particularly Razord ringing out Siege surprised the heck out of me. We had some good fights. We had some not as many glitches this time. They're all kind of concentrated in a single fight for the most part. But yeah, it was a good stream, I think. We will confer with the judges over this next week. They'll get their scores in, and we will have the results. Usually we have the results by Wednesday or Thursday. We put them up in the Discord server. We put them on the Twitter account. So if you want to follow the Robot Rampage League, you can join the Discord server. We have discussion channels in there that's linked in the description. We also have a Twitter account for the Robot Rampage League at Robot Rampage. We put up results, we put up schedules and everything there, and so you can follow us there. You can follow Heavy Metal Robotics, the real life version, on Facebook, where I have a few photos. I got to put up a photo of my current Beetle weight that I'm working on still. hopefully once the pandemic settles down, my brother and I can get together and we can work on robots together, make some new stuff. Thank you everybody for watching. I very much appreciate it. I appreciate the super chats especially because this is pretty much the only thing that I'm making money through because I'm staying at home because of the pandemic. So I really appreciate you guys supporting me. Next week on the Robot Rampage, we will be fighting at the same time, 1 p.m., 7 p.m., whichever time zone you're in. Thank you guys, everybody, for being here. I'm going to leave you guys with your schedule for next week.